All right, let's dive into Hollywood,
Yeah.
but not the Walk of Fame Hollywood. We're
Mhm.
talking like the industry itself.
Okay.
How to go from like some people with cameras in California
Yeah.
to like, I don't know, this global thing. I mean, it's a
Uh-huh.
huge industry.
Yeah, it's a crazy story.
What's the thing that nobody knows about Hollywood?
So, like, in the early 1900s,
Okay.
film was like an East Coast thing,
Ah,
but
right.
filmmakers, they were kind of like getting choked out,
Mhm. Hmm.
Too many rules, not enough places to film.
Right.
So they're like, hey, California.
California.
Yeah, like beaches and sunshine, California.
I mean, it's a big change.
It is, but California had like this one big thing.
What's that?
Freedom.
Okay.
Fewer rules meant like more experimenting, more risks,
Hmm.
telling stories the way they wanted.
Right.
Plus, California's got it all. Beaches, deserts, mountains.
So it's perfect for film.
Yeah, it's a filmmaker's paradise.
So they traded in their suits for, I don't know, swim trunks.
Basically.
And a lot of creative freedom.
Exactly.
I know some big names came out of that, right?
Yeah.
Like what about studios like Warner Brothers,
Oh, yeah.
Paramount, Universal?
Those are the big ones.
They all started around that, right?
They did, and they weren't just making films.
Right.
They were building empires.
What?
And this freedom in California.
Yeah.
That's what let them explode.
And that led to, like, classic Hollywood.
Exactly.
Okay, but it wasn't all perfect, right?
Yeah.
I've heard about the studio system,
Yes.
and it doesn't sound that great for the actors.
It was how do I put it? A fascinating system.
Okay.
The studios, they controlled it all.
Like what?
Actors, directors, the stories.
So they decided everything.
Basically, it was like a movie factory,
Interesting.
turning out hit after hit.
But that sounds like it could cause problems.
Oh, it did.
I imagine so, especially for the actors.
Imagine being a star. Totally at the mercy of these studio heads.
Right.
It was a different time.
I bet.
But we got some iconic films from that system.
I mean, I guess so.
And some of the biggest stars ever.
This is the golden age, right?
Got it.
Okay.
Think Marilyn Monroe,
Of course.
Humphrey Bogart,
Right.
larger-than-life figures.
So we're talking like Gone with the Wind,
Yeah.
Casablanca,
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz.
Those are the ones.
Those are classic.
They went beyond entertainment,
Yeah.
and they became part of our culture.
Yeah.
But even golden ages,
Yeah.
they don't last forever.
Okay, so what happened?
Well, things started changing in the 60s.
How so?
Antitrust laws came in, TV got big.
Oh, so more competition.
Exactly.
Oh.
And, audiences, they wanted something new,
Hmm.
something different.
So what did Hollywood do?
Well, they didn't just disappear.
Okay, good.
Things got really interesting.
How so?
Independent films, they started popping up,
Mm-hmm.
telling, like, edgier stories. Yes. More realistic.
Right.
And then, bam, new Hollywood.
New Hollywood.
Yeah, in the 70s.
That sounds like a big change.
Oh, it was a complete shakeup.
Okay, so what was different?
Think grittier stories.
Okay.
Directors like Spielberg, Coppola, pushing boundaries.
Mm.
Blockbusters like Jaws, Star Wars,
Yeah.
completely changed what movies could be.
Wow.
It was a rebellion against, like, the old Hollywood.
The studio-controlled stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, so special effects are going crazy.
Yeah.
Stories are getting real.
Right.
Hollywood is changing again.
It's always changing.
But with all that change, did Hollywood's reach, shrink? I mean, was it still a global thing?
Oh, it didn't shrink.
Okay.
It actually blew up even more.
Really?
Yeah, this is when Hollywood went global.
I mean, I know it's influential.
It's more than just movies at this point.
What do you mean?
It's fashion, music, even language.
Wait, language?
Or,
You saying people learned English from watching movies?
maybe not specifically, but you get the idea. Hollywood films, they became this force for cultural exchange,
Interesting.
shaping how the world saw America and the other way around.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is, but the story doesn't end there.
Right. We've got the internet now,
Exactly.
and CGI making special effects even crazier.
And then you've got the digital age.
So what happens to Hollywood in this new world?
That, my friend,
Yep.
is the real cliffhanger.
Okay, so we're leaving it there.
For now.
But we'll be back to talk about...
The digital age and beyond.
All right, see you then.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about this digital tidal wave hitting Hollywood.
Right, like a tsunami of change.
And I'm picturing, I don't know, studio execs scrambling,
Oh, yeah.
trying to figure out how to survive.
It's adapt or die in this new world.
With streaming services like
Netflix,
Disney Plus,
Amazon Prime.
all these platforms changing how we watch.
Exactly. It's a whole new ballgame.
So what happens to the old system?
Yeah.
I mean, will movie theaters even exist in 10 years?
It's a good question. A lot of people are wondering that.
Right.
I mean, some people might be sad to see theaters go.
Yeah, that classic experience.
Right. But Hollywood's always been about adapting.
So you're saying cinemas aren't dead yet?
They might have to evolve.
Okay, so how is Hollywood dealing with this streaming takeover?
Well, it's not just about dumping movies onto these platforms.
Okay, so what are they doing?
Some are creating content just for streaming.
Okay.
Others are using it to reach more people,
I see.
experimenting with different ways to release films.
So is streaming good or bad for Hollywood?
It's not that simple.
Okay.
It's both a challenge and an opportunity.
Hmm.
It's pushing Hollywood to be more creative, more experimental.
To think outside the box?
Exactly, and to really understand what audiences want.
So what about the content itself, like the stories?
Oh, that's changed a lot too.
How so?
Streaming has really pushed for more diversity.
Okay, like what? More diverse casts?
Yeah, stories from different cultures,
Okay.
filmmakers from underrepresented backgrounds.
That's great.
And it's not just tokenism.
So these stories are actually finding an audience.
Absolutely. People are hungry for authentic, diverse content.
About time.
Right.
But what about the people behind the camera?
That's changing too.
More women directors, producers, writers.
Exactly. More people of color in those roles.
So a new perspective.
Fresh voices, new stories.
So streaming is pushing for a more inclusive Hollywood.
It's playing a big role, definitely.
But has it changed how stories are told?
Oh, yeah, that's a great point.
How so?
We're moving away from the traditional way of telling stories.
You mean like the beginning, middle, end structure?
Exactly, the 3-act structure.
Okay.
Streaming is embracing serialized storytelling.
What's
It's like stories that unfold over multiple episodes.
like a TV show?
Kind of, but more complex.
Okay.
It allows for deeper characters, longer plots.
It's like reading a long book, but on screen?
That's a good way to put it.
So is that the end of movies as we know them?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There's always a place for a good film,
Right.
but the lines are blurring.
Between film and TV.
Exactly. We've got miniseries, anthology shows,
Mm.
even movies being released in episodes.
It's like we have so many choices now.
a whole buffet of entertainment.
So what does all this mean for Hollywood's future?
Well, it's hard to say for sure,
Okay.
but it's an exciting time
How so?
because Hollywood's evolving, innovating.
Mm.
They're actually listening to the audience.
So it's not just about repeating the same old formulas.
No, they have to change if they want to survive.
It's a new world.
Exactly. Hollywood has to be bold, take risks,
Okay.
and embrace the global audience.
This diverse, connected audience.
Right, they're the key.
So it sounds like we're on the edge of something big.
It feels that way.
But what are the big questions we should be asking?
Well, there are a few things to consider.
Okay, so you were saying like some big questions about the future of Hollywood.
Yeah, a few things to keep in mind.
Like what? What's the biggest one?
Well, technology, obviously.
Right, that's a given.
But I'm not just talking CGI.
Okay, so what then? What kind of tech are we talking about?
Think like virtual production, whole worlds built digitally.
I mean, that's happening already, right?
Yeah, but it's just the beginning.
Okay.
Then you've got AI.
For films.
Oh, yeah, analyzing scripts,
Interesting.
predicting how audiences will react,
Wow.
maybe even like personalized content.
Hold on, so like movies that change based on my mood.
It could happen.
That's wild.
And then there's like immersive experiences,
Okay, explain that.
blurring the lines between real and like not real.
So basically, like stepping into the movie,
It's getting us closer to that.
that's a lot to take in.
It is, and it brings up ethical questions.
Like what?
How will this tech be used? Who gets to use it?
Right, big question.
But beyond the tech itself, there's another big thing, Hollywood and the global audience.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But that relationship,
Yeah.
it's changing.
How so?
Audiences today, they're like way more connected.
You got the internet, social media.
Right. And they're more informed.
So they're harder to please.
They're more demanding. They want something real.
So no more cheesy one-liners.
Maybe some,
Okay.
but they want authenticity, originality, stories that speak to them, you know.
So it's about more than just having diverse actors on screen.
Exactly. It's about the stories.
Okay.
Different voices, different perspectives.
And that means changing how Hollywood works.
From top to bottom.
So more writers,
Yeah.
directors, producers.
From all kinds of backgrounds.
different cultures, different experiences.
That's the future.
So diversity isn't just a trend.
No, it's survival.
It's the key to staying relevant.
Hollywood has to embrace the global audience.
If they want to keep telling stories that matter.
And that brings us to the biggest question.
Okay, hit me with it.
Can Hollywood really reinvent itself?
For this new era, this new audience.
Exactly.
It's a big question.
It is, and it's tough to answer.
So what do you think? Will they pull it off?
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
Hollywood's got a knack for adapting.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Pushing boundaries, finding new ways to tell stories.
Right.
If they embrace diversity,
Okay.
use technology responsibly,
Right.
and really connect with that global audience, then yeah, I think they can do it.
But it's not going to be easy.
It'll be a challenge, for sure.
Well, you've given us a lot to think about
My pleasure.
from those early days in California
The Wild West of filmmaking.
to this crazy digital revolution.
Well, it's been a wild ride.
Hollywood's story is like constantly evolving.
And it's not over yet.
We're just in the middle of it.
Who knows what's next?
Well, that's the beauty of it, I guess.
The future is unwritten.
And we all get to be a part of it.
In a way, yeah.
Well, thanks for taking us on this deep dive into Hollywood.
Anytime.
And for everyone listening,
Yeah.
keep exploring, keep questioning.
Keep the conversation going.
Absolutely. And until next time.